Hey, everybody. Good evening. Good evening. Happy Thursday. Today is Thursday. It has been quite a day for me, but we are pressing on. Hello, we are pressing on this evening. I'm so excited because it's almost the weekend for one. Hello, ladies. It's almost the weekend. Friday is my long coaching day, but honestly, it's really one of my favorite days of the week because I get to breathe a little bit and do what we're going to do tonight, okay? Which is coach some and talk about the power of decision making this evening. I hope you guys had an incredible day. I hope that you are feeling blessed, feeling prosperous today. I hope that you're excited for the weekend, that maybe, just maybe, if you're not totally somebody's mama, which most of our ladies here are. Hey, you all. Most of our ladies are, that you get a little bit of rest and restoration this weekend, some of what you really need in order to be the best version of yourself. Okay. So tonight we are talking for a little bit about decision making. If you're new here in this community, I am Christina Garrett. I am your productivity coach. It has been my honor for the last several years, at least 7, because that's how long we've been doing the conference, the last several years, to create a space that honors your womanhood journey. Here in this community, we honor the difference in life that you live, the roles that you play, the responsibilities that you carry as you are a multitasking superhero whose goal is to get more done by doing less. Okay. We are approaching our 7th annual Mamathon conference. I cannot believe it's been 7 years, but this month, October 28th through the 30th, we are meeting in Atlanta, Georgia, and it's going to be phenomenal. Like, I'm not even, there are no words. I'm excited. Okay. So for those of you who are coming to meet us in Atlanta, we can't wait to see you. For those of you who are a little hesitant or you're not sure how you're going to swing it, you're still welcome. You can slide in my DMs to get a spot. But I'm just excited about the space that we're able to create for powerhouse women who are authentic in their roles. They know what they want. They are determined, focused, relentless to go after the things that they know God has for them. Okay. And so even though it's late tonight, even though I am taking a few minutes and taking some time to go into our topic of the evening. You guys know sometimes I just go live late because I know you guys got to throw your kids in the bed, and I know you all have to show up. Hey, Janisha, and I know you guys are just now settling down. This is our life, okay? So sometimes I go late in the evening time. Tomorrow it might be during the day, but I like to catch you guys when you all are taking a deep breath, okay? All right, so tonight tonight we are talking about the power of decision making, how important it is that you intentionally engage yourself with the life that you are working towards and get out of experiencing what one of my favorite authors calls your default future. How important it is for you to get out of your default future. Okay. This is the life that is almost guaranteed if you keep going the way that you are going. This is the life that is coming to you if we don't adjust our expectations, if we don't fix our boundaries, if we don't level up how we motivate ourselves. The default future is what is going to happen if we make no sharp changes in direction. It's what's going to happen when we continue on the same road that we're on. We don't make any decisions that we want something different. In the default future, you can see yourself coasting. Some other people will call the default future going into autopilot. Okay. Some of our ladies have said, I go into default when I feel overwhelmed, right? When I'm trying to figure out if I'm coming or going and I'm just not sure. Like, these are the moments where I slip into my default future when I'm not sure what I'm doing. I'm not sure where I'm going. I'm just coasting. Have you ever been there? Have you ever been in the place where you're just coasting? I have. I can honestly say, even though I am productivity extraordinaire and, God is doing so many incredible things and all this stuff, there are still moments where anytime I could slip back into my default future. I could take my foot off the gas and intentionally say, you know what? I'm going to fall back from what I believe is for me. I just sometimes don't feel like going after, or being that version of myself. However, it is so crucial, so important that we do the necessary work, that we engage internally to make sure that we are showing up, delivering, loving ourselves enough to go after the future that we're creating. Here's the thing, Jeremiah 29:11 reminds us that God knows the plan that he has for us, a plan that's going to give us good future and hope and an expected end and all these incredible things, right? This is what's coming to me. It's going to happen. He says he knows the plan, but is it possible that some things that I intentionally do can remove me from this plan? Is it possible that some of the intentions that I have, some of the frustrations that I allow myself to fall into, can force me to go into being that person, the autopilot person, the person that is coasting, the person that is not sure about her future, that girl? Is it possible that I slip down into being that person? So we got to ask ourselves some questions tonight, okay? We have to do a little bit of analysis. We have to do an inner check-in for just a few minutes on those things that cause us to go into autopilot. And I dare to say, one of the reasons that we don't make exponential growth, one of the reasons that we don't jump forward is because we struggle with making decisions. We struggle with being decisive. A lot of times it's because I want to see the end from the beginning, right where I am. I want to know the end result of me marrying this pastor. That's me. I want to know the end result of me homeschooling my children. I want to know the end result of me starting this business. I want to know the end result of me hosting this event. I want to know the end result of me writing this book. I want to know the end result of me helping this person. I want to know the end result of me saying yes to this opportunity or no to this opportunity because I feel like it's not for me in this moment. I still have to align myself with making healthier decisions. And I dare to say that some of us, we run from this. We run from the discomfort that comes from having to make decisions. We run away from the eerie silence that we ourselves have with internally, where you're just sitting in the shower, you're just sitting at your house, you're just sitting outside, breathing, exploring your own thoughts and your own state of mind and all of this. And we can have some times where we sit here and we say, you know what? This quiet is too disturbing to me. I myself do not know how to be still in this moment. I struggle with moving forward in this moment. I struggle with embracing where I am in this moment, and decision making is a part of this. Decision making, choosing a different future, choosing a transition, a turn. But a lot of times we want to see the end, the results of it before we make the choice. How do I know that this is the right move? You don't. You have intuition, you have God talking to you, you have wisdom coming to tell you these things, but you never know what's going to happen on the other side of that. Good evening. And because of these moments, a lot of times we struggle with just making a decision. We're saying, yes, that's for me, or no, that's not for me. I'm reading a new book. Gosh, what's the name of the book? It's a book about powerful coaching, right? Like I'm already an incredible coach. Let's just be honest. great coach, but there are levels to this thing and working on bettering myself, right? Good evening. Working on bettering myself means that my clients benefit from me becoming a better coach as well. You should always be learning, always be growing. And so one of the things that he says inside of the book is that you cannot take anybody. This is good. You cannot take anybody any deeper than you have gone yourself. Hi. You cannot take anybody any deeper than you yourself have gone. And so what happens is when we as people struggle with making decisions, when we as women struggle with making progress forward, when we say, I'm just not sure, I just don't know, and we hem and haw, we go back and forth and we're doing all the things, right? When we say, this is what the case, what's my hair doing today? Hold on. There we go. When we say that this is where we are and we're always going over it again and again and again, rehearsing, and I'm not sure, and I struggle so much with making a choice because I want to know what's on the other side of it. I want to know what the result is going to be. I want to know that I want to be able to put the responsibility on the other person to make sure that this turns out good. It can't be on me, right? We cannot take anybody any deeper than we have gone ourselves. So one of the things that I have done this year, especially even with the conference, but beyond that in my own personal life, I've learned to make decisions quicker. I've learned to say, okay, I know I'm going to look at 1, 2, and 3. Okay, bet. Hey, responsible person that is in this thing with me. That could be my husband. That could be my event coordinator, right, for the conference. These kind of things. I have learned to make decisions faster. I have learned to make decisions faster. We don't have time. And the other day, I'll have to do a replay of this later. The other day, I was just going ham talking about making decisions faster, but how we don't have time to play. Like we just don't. Okay. We don't have time for this. And so tonight we're talking about decision making. Number one, making decisions causes you to figure out what you want. To figure out what you want. For example, let's say you are exploring, I'm going to throw something out there because I see you're exploring picking an interior designer. Okay. You're exploring the options. There are going to be some designers who are great at, I don't know, modern. Somebody else will fill your house with antiques. Someone else will be minimalist design. Do you know what your design preference is? Do you know what you actually want? Do you know what you really, really want? Is what you want because you saw it in a magazine and it looked nice, but does it look like you? All white houses are great, but is that actually who you are? Are you actually a minimalist or you're a maximist and you love seeing stuff everywhere? Who are you? Do you know? If we ourselves do not know us and what we want, if our self-awareness isn't heightened, if we're not focused on where we're going and the vision at hand, how in the world can we bring on somebody else, an interior designer, for example, who gives us an all white minimalist house and you walk in and you hate it because you love warm tones or cool tones, some kind of tone, not white. You love something, but we're not sure what it is that we want. Making decisions requires us to do that inner work. To say, you know what? These are the things that I see in my future. I choose this. And so often we revert to a default future. We revert back to coasting, autopilot, whatever happens, happens, being reactive instead of proactive, instead of choosing the things that are going to take us to where we are. I'm applying for a speaking engagement that's coming up next April, May. And in this, I think it's May. In the speaking engagement, y'all, it's like 1,000 mom conference, right? And I'm like, oh, okay, this is someplace at 1,000 mompreneur conference. Okay. And so, okay, so this is where I need to be. We're going to shoot the shot. Why? Because 2023 is, we have a very designed trajectory. We know where we're going with this thing. And it's very, very hard twice this week And I'm telling y'all because I never thought it would happen to me. I got to be honest. I have to be honest. Twice this week, major international organizations. I'm talking about organizations who are changing the landscape for parents, parental rights, like, and they're talking to me and they're saying to me, how much is it for your vision? How do we support you? Y'all, if I didn't know what it took to get us to the next place, if I can't see, I told my event coordinator, this is what I see. She said, listen, I think that this is what's your happy place. I said, no, that's not the stopping point. Like, we're sponsored for next year, this year. Like, it's, people are like, I see this turning into a long and fruitful collaboration. Put us on the calendar for next October. But being a powerful decision maker means that you're aligning yourself up with the things that are coming in your future. And some of us struggle so much with making a choice that is going to lead us out. It's going to take us out of default future, and it's going to push us into the expected end that God has for us. But some of us are too scared to exit autopilot. It's okay. That's okay. Somebody reached out to me. Y'all will be here at the conference if you're coming to the conference. She reached out. She said, listen, I've been to a lot of women's events. She said, but I need to know that this one is going to talk to and speak to my life as a woman, as a wife, as a mother, and as a business owner. That's what I need. I said, well, sis, you in the right place. This is all we do here. That's all we do. But the thought pattern behind really working on that intentional living, working on breathing life into the newness, working on seeing something different and exiting that default future that's coming just because I don't want the reactive future. I want the future that God has for me, and he needs some effort on my behalf, right? So being a powerful decision maker means that you have to explore what you want. You got to explore it. You got to make the decision that I'm going to go into that place. I'm going to do my inner work. I'm going to ask myself, what do I really want? Why do I want this? Why is this important to me? Why is this vision valuable? Why are these hopes that I have for my family? Why do I want that? Sometimes we want things that we already have. Why do you want that? I want to make $1 million so I can spend more time with my family. You got time with your family right now. So that's not the reason you want the $1 million. Go deeper. Make decisions that are going to lead you to the expected end that Jeremiah 29 is talking about. That's going to lead you there. Faith and work. What are you working on? The Bible says that if you trust in the Lord, he'll bring it to pass. He will establish it. Establish what? Establish what? Some stuff, it just says it. Other places in the Bible, it says whosoever. My pastor at home, Pastor Marcellus Buckner, he would say, whosoever means that's for all of us. That's for you. It's for everybody that's watching. Everybody that reads that passage, whosoever is for all of us. But the trouble is sometimes we struggle with making those decisions. Sometimes we struggle with saying, this is what I want. This is why I know it's for me. There are things that I shot my shot for this year. I told y'all, I knew it was for me. Nobody could tell me. 2020, I was like Essence. I don't know why. It's just what should happen. It's in my heart. It's in my mind. I see it. I'm pitching them again this week. For the third time. Can we do 3 times in a year? I don't know. Let's try it. The thought pattern behind it is this, that if I can make the decision to go and become this person, it pushes me exponentially further. to my goal than I ever could have been. So making decisions helps you to explore what you want. Number two, making decisions helps you to define where you're extraordinary. Helps you to define where you are extraordinary. Hi, Valerie. In so many situations, we end up being all over the place. Okay. We have our own selves to take care of. We have our husbands to love on, children to nurture, businesses, work a 9 to 5, all of these different situations where you are a powerful woman in a leadership position. Okay. I'm calling everybody a powerhouse woman because those are the women that are here in our community. Even if your powerhouse is loading, you're still here because that's the woman that you are. Okay. Hey, Tarnia, thank you. And because you are extraordinary, and because you are powerful, and because you are focused and disciplined and epic, you got to look at the places where I am going to be the most fruitful. Where will you be the most fruitful? Here in this space, this one right here, this bubble, this is my superpower, right? I sent an email out to my ladies the other day. I was like, listen, all of us have got a superpower. The question is, how can my coaching superpower help you to unleash your superpower, your speaking superpower, your author superpower, your building superpower, your show upness, your consistency? That big lofty goal that you feel like, will I ever get there? How can my superpower help you to unleash yours? This is why we're here. This is why we're here. So when you make decisions, it helps you to say, this is where I need to put my energy. This is where I need to sow. This is where I need to focus. This is what's most important for this season of my life. This right here. But there are moments in our lives where we refuse to make decisions because maybe I dare to say, we might be unsure about where we're extraordinary. Somebody talk back to me. Tell me if that feels right. Somebody verify for me if that feels right. I see you. Sometimes we're not sure where we'll be the most fruitful. We're not sure where we'll be the most extraordinary. So, how do I make a decision revolving around it if I myself am not sure? Okay. So, this is where our inner work comes in. This is where our coaching comes in. This is where our strategic planning comes in and our clarity. Somebody say, yes, that's it. I don't even know where I'm extraordinary. And I'm going to tell you guys something. I don't think this client is watching tonight. If she was, she would probably wave her hands in the comments. But there were days where we were working on her building outward, right? She was working on her goals and her dreams and all these things. She said, I just feel like I'm such a beginner. I said, well, how long have you been working in your career? How long have you been doing this and doing that? And we just started to do the math together, right? We started to do the math together. And it was like, baby, you got 15, 20 years of experience in this avenue, but something in your mind is telling you that you're a beginner. One of my other clients, she said, I'm not sure if anybody is even going to show up to hear me deliver this information. Why me? Am I the person to give this? I don't feel like I'm qualified to tell you, go and do this instead. I said, baby, you doing all the intentional work. These are real women. These are women, they work 9 to 5s. They got kids. These are real women who want to change the world in their own way. Right? And so she was like, I just don't feel qualified. I said, well, listen, here's what I see. I said, you've done all the intentional work to be somebody that's not hypocritical. So do you want me to tell you how? I said, because despite your traumatic past, you went and got a trauma counselor. Despite your inconsistency, you weren't sure which way to go. You hired me. And every week we go over her plan and we don't let her let up the gas. I said, then you got a book coach to help make sure that what you're putting out into the world is excellence. I said, you got multiple ways that you are staying in alignment. I can tell you I did my work. I have my receipts. I'm paying my dues. I said, you're paying all your dues. So sometimes we struggle with making decisions. Sometimes we hover over it for an extended period of time because we're not sure what it is that we want. We're not sure where we are extraordinary. We're not sure what God put inside of us to change the world. And I'm going to tell you something. You have the answer. It's in here. It might be hidden in here. And that's where we do our processes and we work on our strategy and all this stuff. Sometimes it's hidden, but you got the answer. This is a you agenda, not a Christina agenda. It's a you agenda. Okay. And so, where are you extraordinary? What's your superpower? What are your gifts? What did God put inside of you to give to the world? We're waiting on it. We want it. And one of the worst gifts we can give to God is to be apathetic, to be real chill, about this passion project. I've said this before, and this is me being transparent. I told the ladies in person last year. I said I wasn't going to do a conference this year. I told them in 2021, I was like, yeah, I wasn't going to do it. And they were all so surprised. This year, I had one moment early on, and then we hit full steam ahead. And then one thing I want everybody to know is it doesn't mean that you don't have challenges. It doesn't mean that you don't come to a place of breathing. It doesn't mean that you don't have times when you're not sure. Okay, fine and good. But there also has to be a rinse and repeat of where we're going with this thing. Okay. Janisha knows we talk a lot about rinsing and repeating. We talk a lot about going back to square one. You know what you're supposed to do. You know. Go back to that thing and do it. Do it again. Do more of it. We're waiting. And what happens is when it stops being exciting, when it stops tickling your fancy, when you have to do some sacrificing, when you have to invest, all this kind of stuff, we start to pull back from the decision making because I didn't know it was going to cost me this. I didn't know that I was going to have to divorce the old me. I didn't know that I was going to have to let go of the old version of myself. And I shared this in the springtime. I said, y'all, I can feel a physical separation happening in my body, y'all, of the change that was happening. Like the old, we can't stay there. We have to go back and say, okay, this version of myself is no longer serving me. Now it's time to step it up. I know I can't remain in this bubble. It's time to go be her. And what would her do today? What would her do today? What would that version of you do right now? So, number one, decision making makes you explore what you want. Number two, it makes you discover where you are extraordinary. And then number three, making a decision forces you to create space to develop it. Okay. You got to create some space. All right. One of the things that I love doing with my clients, there's something called the Lamppost Theory. The Lamppost Theory is basically that if you have a sounding, you will automatically be enriched if you have a sounding board to tell things to, right? There are very few places in the world where people are there only for you. There's very few places in the world where people are there only for you, where you have to align yourself. They're just there to listen. They're only there to help you create the forward movement that you need. Okay. Tarnia says, can I repeat 1 and 3? Decision making makes you explore what you want. It makes you see where you're extraordinary. And it makes you create space to develop your skills. Hi, Luke. makes you create space to develop your skills, okay? Skills, passion, strategy, clarity, brainstorming, vision, all the things you want to call it. We're here for it. Hey, princess. We got to make space to develop this dream, this goal, this aspiration that we have that's in here. I talk a lot about the sermon I want what I want by Pastor Darius Daniels. And in that sermon, it really helped me because um I had to switch directions in certain things in my career and my own personal vision for myself. And I told one of my clients, and I had to tell myself the same thing, that after a certain point, it's time for new goals. It's time for new goals. And so if you're at a place in your life where you've been looking at the same goals over and over again, we got to do some inventory to ask, I might need some new goals. I may need some new opportunities to create something different. I may need to change my strategy. I may need to work on how I'm elevating. But we got to create space for it. It will not just happen on its own, okay? Now my thought pattern is, hey, let's work together to create that space. Let's have a conversation about how we can create space for what it is that you want to see, right? In the midst of that, what are the opportunities that you're willing to seize to make sure that you're creating this atmosphere, that you're not sliding into the autopilot future, the default future where life just happens to you, where it just unfolds however it unfolds and things just pour out however they pour out. Oh, this is just what happens. There was something that sunk inside of me, and I knew it was a result of my own inner work, right? Where even as I'm working on a conference and all these things are happening, it was like, oh, okay, I see where this is going, but I'm allowed to choose a different future. What does that different future look like? What kind of questions do I need to ask myself? The questions that I ask myself are going to help me to change my trajectory. Okay, bet. And then the trajectory changed. Then it changed. So my question to you tonight is, where are you extraordinary? What superpowers are you holding on to? What space do you need to create to explore what it is that you really, really want? How are we going to make that happen? How are we going to work through when it gets uncomfortable? When I don't like that. That's a lot of work. What happens when we get to, you're holding me accountable, I just don't want to do this? What happens when we sit down and we're just quiet? Because sometimes that happens where we're working through things and you're having a moment and it's like, this is what's really holding me back. This is what I'm really afraid of. Okay. Now we're getting somewhere. One of my friends, she had a challenging situation. I said, well, listen, can we coach on that for a second? Like, can we just explore the reason that this happens and why it's happening, and you always ask permission to go deeper on a situation. I'm learning so much, and it's like, okay, this is a little heavy, can we go a little deeper in this situation? So the challenge for her was moving forward and feeling prepared as she moved forward. And so I said, okay, well, that's no problem. Now we need to line up how you're going to feel prepared and this and this and this. But it would not have happened if we had just skated over. This is what I always do. This is my default future. No. We're going to now go into that space that used to be default and say, okay, what do I need to explore here? And this is why I'm really doing it. The reason that I'm doing this now, I need to expand. Okay. So for all of you bombshell powerhouse superstars who are like, I'm struggling with harboring over some of these feelings, some of these emotions. I'm working my way through some of the stuff that's hard. I find myself intentionally, listen, we do it on purpose. We will find something else to do besides what we are really supposed to do because we don't want to make a decision about the hard stuff sometimes. Sometimes executing on the hard stuff is what's beating us up. And then other times, the very thought of going all the way on one thing or these two things are where I'm most aligned. Hi, Lude, I see you. Walking forward where we are most aligned, most extraordinary, most powerful. Sometimes we're scared of our own power. Sometimes we're afraid of what if this actually works? Have you ever done that? Have you ever done that where you said to yourself, what if this actually works? What if this actually does take off? What if this actually does go from 0 to 100 and I'm not ready? I'm not prepared. So now that we recognize that that's something that we're afraid of, let's go back. Let's say, okay, now what do I need to do to get ready? It is our thought pattern here in this space that your goal is inevitable. You're going to reach it. You're going to make it. But then I provide a sense of balance and say, okay, how fast are we going to reach it? Are you going to just autopilot until it happens mysteriously, like a comet striking the earth? Or do we start to align some things differently? Good evening. We align some things differently so that we're making intentional decisions. Okay. We're doing it on purpose. Everything, I'm not going to sit here and hover over this idea or this decision for weeks and weeks and months. And some of us, we supposed to go live, something as simple as going live, right? Which it may not be simple for everybody, but I digress. Simple as going live and telling everybody, hey, this is who I am. This is what I do. This is how I serve the world. And because we hem and haw over it for such an extended period of time, it's October and you're going to be talking about going live on the regular as my New Year's resolution. No, ma'am. No, we can't do that. We got to continue to think about where is it that I want to go and what do I want? I mean, really want. Like when I think about Mamathon, I think about a convention center. When I see my future, I see daytime TV. I want to be the productivity and parenting correspondent for Essence. Like I want, whenever the topic comes up, they say call Christina. Like that's what I want. I know I want it. This is not up for debate. Like I see it, I know it. I'm like, you know what, God, I agree with what you say about me, and I'm gonna go full steam ahead. And some of us, we see it, but we don't believe it. Some of us, we feel it, but it's like, I'm really not sure. Because I'm not sure, all of our behavior takes away the certainty. How do you make decisions and all of your decisions are uncertain? Being okay with, okay, this is what the outcome might be. And sometimes it is helpful for us to think about what is just the most jacked up thing that could happen as a result of me making this decision. What's the worst thing that could happen from me going back to school? You get a degree. It might be rough for a little while, but you get your degree. What's the worst thing that could happen from me deciding to stick it out in my marriage? Right? You get some more tenacity, even if y'all end up co-parenting eventually. What's the worst thing that could happen from me moving from this place to the other place? You got to work a little harder to make new friends. What's the worst thing that could happen from me partnering with this person? Okay, so maybe I, make sure that my legal stuff is together. Like, let's just think through it. The scariest thing that could result from making this decision, and then you do your precautions Say, you know what? That's actually not the end of the world. That's actually not the end of me if I choose this. Somebody said, I'm speaking to you. I see you, friend. It's the worst thing that can happen. Like sometimes you might just have to go in that hole just a little bit, not too far, just a little. What's the worst that can happen if I shoot my shot in a big way? They say thanks, but no thanks. That's it. Here's a lesson I learned that might not be big to you guys. It's big to me. I've said it before. I'm just letting y'all know. So when you shoot your shot for awesome media opportunities, right? You can send a thank you email. Do not send a thank you gift. You're welcome. Okay. You can send a thank you email, but not a thank you gift. I learned this twice. Okay. You want to know? And these were not little opportunities. Okay. The first one was to the executive producer team at Red Table Talk. Okay. Some of y'all know this. Some of y'all don't. I got to be positioned on Red Table Talk season 3, the mom shaming episode, right? Where I got to ask a question about, why people be all up in parents' business. Like I got a whole bunch of kids. And Jada Pinkett Smith looked at my face and my family and she said, wow, that's right. Jada Pinkett Smith has seen my face. Anyway, the moral of the story is, Janice said, swish. Listen. So afterwards, I think I sent a thank you gift and something else. And I said, listen, I'd love to treat you to coffee or something. They were like, thank you. You do not have to do that. No thanks. Okay. Now, I felt really, really embarrassed. I don't really say it out loud, but I felt so embarrassed. I was like, oh, baby, I could just puke. Like, I said, now it sounds like I'm trying to swindle them into putting me on the show. So embarrassed. Somebody said, no need. It was no need. I was so embarrassed. So that happened to one time, okay? Second time, one of the editors for Essence, I was like, listen, I don't think I off. No. The digital producer, I have her email too. See, I sent an email, thank you, would love to buy you something like that. And they were like, thank you, no need, no thank you, okay? But thanks, but no thanks, okay? Moral of the story. When I got into the print Essence, I had learned my lesson. When I got into the print Essence, the Janet Jackson one, I learned my lesson. I said, I know I can't buy you coffee, so I'm just going to tell you thank you so much for having me. And I look forward to partnering with you guys again in the future. Okay. That was it. It had to be it. Like I learned my lesson. Okay. I learned my lesson. So what's the worst that could happen? You might be a little embarrassed. Okay. What's the worst that could happen? They say no. What's the worst that could happen? You got to pivot and figure it out a different way. What's the worst that could happen? Hey, bro. And sometimes we harbor so much over the worst that we never think about. Somebody said, I did that to Devon Franklin. You invited that man to coffee, you done broke up his marriage. I'm just playing. So anyway, she said she did that to Devon Franklin. I got to find out who this is. Oh, this is so funny. So the moral of the story is this. You got to be okay with this whole entire process of occasionally you looking crazy, occasionally you shooting your shot and they say, thank you, but no thank you. It happens. It happens. But can we be okay? Can we be all right with the process? Oh, that's right. She said she gave him all my books and a hoodie for his birthday. I'm sure plenty of women are offering him stuff for his birthday. Especially now. You know what I'm saying? Like, you just get like this, thank you. Thank you, but no thank you. Janice said, who's Devon Franklin? Google him. Yes. Google him, girl. Google him. He's a preacher. He used to be married to Megan Good. They're divorcing, though. That's why I was joking about their marriage, but that was a joke. Okay. So anyway, The moral of the story is really thinking about where we're going, what we're doing. Like Lude said, not staying paralyzed, okay, not staying trapped up in this moment of what if it works? What if it doesn't work? It's the end of the world, okay? Making a decision helps you to explore what you want. But dare I say that what you want now in this season might change in the future? What you want in one season might be so different, right? It may change so dynamically the further that you go into the future. And so you have to analyze, you got to go through that process. What do I want? What am I extraordinary at? Is this a good place for me to sow my time, my energy, my effort? And then am I giving space to develop it? Am I opening up the door of opportunity to say, okay, I'm ready to go full steam ahead. This time I'm not letting up the gas. I'm a different person now, so my results are going to be different. I'm ready. Like, I'm ready. You're ready. Okay. So, as we close tonight, you all know, as always, my DMs are open on Facebook for sure. There's a link there for those of you who said, hey, you know what, Christina, I know the time is now. I know I'm ready. I know that I want to walk forward. And I also know it's okay if I need accountability while I do it. And I might have some blind spots on my person. And you said, you know what? I think you're my person, Christina. I want to go to the next level. Okay. So if that's you, hop in my messenger. You know what's up. I'm excited to serve you guys at a new level this year. Like it's going there. It really is. And I'm grateful for all of the openings that are happening, but it helps me to serve and support you guys better. It helps me to support you better, helps me to serve you better. It helps me to take you guys to the next level because I'm relentless in going there myself. And remember what we said earlier, if for all of you who serve people, you cannot take anybody any deeper than you already go yourself. You cannot take anybody else any deeper than you're already going yourself. If you're not doing the work, if you're not investing, if you're not plunging deep, it's hard for us to pick up somebody else and take them to a place that we refuse to go ourselves. We got to be in the hole for a second to say, okay, this is the work that I've done. I've had to go through this process so that I can take you with me to go to the next place. Y'all have been privileged to see the evolution. Y'all seen the evolution. So you know when I say, hey, check the receipts and let's walk together, that I'm not saying it from a place of we're back here. Now you guys see the transition. You see what's evolving and what's happening, okay? And so as we open the doors, coaching is a transformation process, okay? And at this time, I'm like, where are my powerhouse mom leaders? Where are the women who know what they want? They're inspired. They are passionate. They're excited about what's coming next. They know what they want, right? Like, you know what you want. Now we're creating the strategy to help you go get it. One of my clients messaged me last night. She got the logo of her dreams. Like, she had been working. The last time that she submitted, it didn't work out. She said, but I want to try again. They just opened the doors again. I want to try again. And so we sat down, we worked through her coaching session. We said, listen, these are some things you need to tweak. I'm going to proofread it for you. Let's talk about, let's go explore this a little bit better, this traumatic situation that you're sharing with them about. Let's explore how to make this flow a little bit better. And don't you know that she got her congratulatory email? And I was like, girl, I was like, you a bad somebody. It's about the goals that you have in mind. It's about what you want. And then we work together to help you go and get it. Okay. So if that's you, feel free to hop in my messenger. If you're coming to the conference, there'll be some special things lined up for you guys for going into 2023. Okay. So that as you know what you want, listen, y'all, she was so excited. She was so excited. She's not watching tonight. Usually she is, but it's late where she lives. She was so thrilled, and I jumped up and down because her win is my win, right? But to know, as a coach, I believe in y'all no matter what place you're in. No matter what place you're in right now, I believe in all those spaces. The places where you're feeling like you're on top of the world, the places where you're evolving, you're like, hey, I don't know, I'm not feeling myself today. That's okay. We still gonna do this work. The places where I have these mental hurdles that I gotta climb over. Okay, wait, I'm not new to this. I am the bomb.com. All of these places, I believe, and as a coach, I get to hold space for you, right? I get to say, okay, this is our bubble. This is your safe space where you can come and just dump all of this stuff. We sort through it, we work through it, and then we help you to make a path to the goal. Okay. So if that's where you are right now, you know what I'm sharing is resonating with you. You know I'm talking to you. You know I am. Like, you know it. And so if you're ready to make transitions and changes, feel free to hop in my messenger. I'm looking forward to supporting and serving you guys. I'm going to be starting more and more calls with, how can I support you today? Like, what do we need to work on today? Where are you today? Because where we are this Friday might be different than where we were last Friday. And still, I get to bring you back home to, what do you want? And making sure that we're creating the path to help you go get it. Okay. So that's it for tonight. I look forward to exploring with you your possibilities. Okay. Big possibilities. I look forward to walking with you to those possibilities. Okay. Love you guys so much. My DMs are open as always. If you want to come to the conference this October 28th through the 30th, slide in my messenger. If you want support with walking to what you really, really want, I'm open for that too. All right. Love you guys so much. And we will talk again tomorrow.